The New York Liberty, they'll look to bounce back after their 5-game winning streak came to an end on Sunday when they fell to the Lynx at home. Now the team travels to the nation's capital to battle the Mystics on Tuesday night. So we're going to preview the game with one of the best sports reporters in the DMV area. The one and only Kelsey Nicole Nelson joins me now. Kelsey, still riding high off of that Commanders win over the Giants on Sunday, I assume.
Oh, look, we love wins in DC. So, yes, the energy is good. We're excited. And now all of a sudden the Mystics have us talking. So it's happy times here in the nation's capital, Dexter. And again, thank you so much for having me. Love being with you.
Always good to see you. Always good to have you on. And you just mentioned the Mystics. They are 13-25 on the season. They're currently tied with the Sky and the Dream for the final postseason spot. This is a team that started the season as one of the worst teams in the W, and now they can get into the playoffs. What has been part of the turnaround for Washington this season?
Dexter, can I just say how excited we are in Washington that we're here at this moment? I mean, at one point in the season, everybody had wrote off the Washington Mystics, right? The worst start in franchise history, the 4th worst start in WNBA league history, right? 0-12. I remember welcoming Ariel Atkins onto my show, Listening with KNN. And, I talked to her like, Ariel, hey, at one point, nobody wanted to go see the Washington Mystics game, right? It was just a losing kind of culture that fans felt like that was built in that locker room. But now all of a sudden we're here talking about the postseason, which once seemed impossible, like a dream, like something so far out of reach. Just the Geno Smith quote, they tried to write us off, but they ain't right back. And it's also talks about the resiliency. That's something before Maisha Hines-Allen was traded. She was talking about that they had to have that resiliency in that locker room, right? They had to believe in themselves. And I think what we've been able to see is the Mystics really believing in their own motto, that ball on our own terms, right? That hashtag that you see going towards Mystics games. They've been able to do that. When I'm talking about balling on our own terms, Dexter, I'm talking about playing good defense, having active hands, being able to get those turnovers and being able to score in transition. We see that a lot when the Washington Mystics have been on that win streak, right? We're talking about a Mystics team that has won 7 out of their last 10 games. And all the more while, I think what's made this Mystics run so interesting is that they've been able to do this with a not fully healthy team. I mean, there has been key players out for the Mystics during this run, again, that we're talking about now that number 8 seed is plausible here in DC. So I think, again, good defense, having active hands, being able to score in transition. And then when the 3-ball is good to the Mystics, the 3-ball has been good to the Washington Mystics when they're able to shoot the rock. And I think a lot of this story honestly has to go. I know we know all talk about Ariel Atkins, but, players like, Julie Van Loo, who I think doesn't get the credit that she deserves. I know she's an older rookie, but an honestly astonishing rookie nonetheless. I mean, you talk about somebody who is a game manager and able to control a lot. I think she deserves some credit. This is a Mystics team that was able to ball without Brittany Sykes, right? And Shakira Austin, who unfortunately is out for the season. But all in all, I think the Mystics have had that kind of next woman up mentality. And I think that's been really able to lead this team. But again, defense has been key when they're able to limit other teams from shooting. And when the Mystics offense gets hot, again, when they're able to shoot behind the arc, Big Mama Steph Dolson, when she's able to get hot behind the arc and players like that, it's very exciting here in DC to watch Mystics basketball. And all the more while, here we are, Dexter, again, talking about a potential spot in the playoffs, which again did not seem like it would happen.
No, it did not. It did not seem like it was going to happen. And I know this is good vibes. I can hear the excitement from you as somebody who covers sports in DC, because down there has not been much to root for, as you know. But, the vibes are starting to change with the Mystics, and that's good. So, obviously, the Mystics, they're looking to win and get in. The Liberty, they're looking to lock up the top seed in the playoffs with a win tonight. What have you made of the Liberty season with 2 games left to go, and how challenging will it be for the Mystics to knock off the team with the WNBA's best record?
I think the New York Liberty are who we thought they are. We know they have ballers, right? We know Stewie is going to continue to be phenomenal, right? I mean, she's just playing Breanna Stewart basketball. Sabrina Nescu, again, another phenomenal player. Lainey Hamilton, who's on the screen right now, her being healthy and back with that squad has been so important. Jonquel Jones, we know what they have. I think for the Mystics, though, again, remember, they're going to be, unfortunately, without Aaliyah Edwards, which I think is a huge, huge storyline, because when you think about it, when the Mystics have lost, rebounding has been a problem, and without her in the game, that could be something. And then Mystics also have to force turnovers. It's that simple. And I think Aaliyah Edwards also has a presence there, or they're going to be without Shakira Austin, third leading scorer on that team. So I think for the Mystics, they're going to have to see who can step up. I think in that last game that they lost in overtime, turnovers were a large reason why they lost in overtime. But something that kept them in that game was bench points. They were outscored Atlanta 38-6 in bench points. My fellow Terp, Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, was a large reason why they were able to be successful off that bench. I think it's going to be, again, that next woman up mentality that they're going to need. They're going to have to find some way to protect the paint. When the Mystics lose, they do not protect the paint well, and that's going to be very hard again against this New York Liberty team. But defense is going to be key, and it's going to be critical about who can, step up. Emily has been somebody that we've talked about a lot in DC, and what she's been able to do since this post-Olympic break. I think a player that doesn't get enough credit, but she does what needs to be done. She will sacrifice her body, and she plays the top tempo. Ariel Atkins is going to need help scoring. So again, who's going to be able to step up for Washington is going to be central, and is going to be key. So I'm hoping Steph Dolson has a big game. She's going to also need to protect the paint, as much as they can. Again, as much as they can. I know it's going to be a hard assignment because Stewie can give you trouble from everywhere, in the paint, from behind the arc. She is who she is, but the Mystics are going to have to protect home turf, hoping that, this is going to be the second game now of a 3-game homestand that the Mystics have, hoping the fan support will also be playing into this, Dexter, because again, Mystics fans have wanted something to cheer about, and now they truly, truly do. So I think this is an exciting time for this Washington Mystics team, but now is their chance to truly prove that they have found their identity thus far in the season and truly have been able to turn things around. So look for the paint to be protected. Look for the Mystics to try to force turnovers. Look for some hard defense being played. Nothing can come easy, but essentially they're going to have to block. They're going to have to block shots. They're going to have some steals, and as much as they can, they're going to have to hope that the 3-ball is good to them tonight, Dexter, as we look forward and prepare for the upcoming game.
No, you gave me some fantastic keys there, and it'll be interesting to see. I was going to ask you about the keys to the game for the Mystics and the Liberty, but I'm going to pivot here a little bit and ask you just about what it would mean for this team, because they control their own destiny. If they win out, they are in, and they are the 8th seed, that being the Mystics, right? And they know that the Liberty want to get this win tonight, and they want to lock up the number 1 seed. So what do you think it's going to mean for this Mystics team with how they started the season? What would it mean for them to actually get into the playoffs?
My gosh, this would be huge. You have to remember, this is a Mystics team that everybody had questions around, right? Going into the season, Dexter, it was what's going to happen with Elena Delle Donne. And then all of a sudden we get the Mystics team. But again, the injury bug has hit the Mystics. It has not been good to the Washington Mystics at all. And we're trying to bring back another championship, right? The Washington Mystics team, we had a taste of one. We want another one. But I think what people have had to get used to is these new faces, playing in Washington, and kind of these non-star names, right? Jade Melbourne, who was just shown on the screen. And players like that. So all in all, I think the Mystics can truly show for everybody that kind of counted them out. You fell short. You fell short in the long run if they're able to do this, because in a year where we're talking about such an incredible rookie class, the Mystics have kind of not been talked about, right? No one's coming to DC for games, Dexter. It's not full until folks like, Caitlin Clark and people come, into town. But all that to say, I think the Mystics players will truly say, like, hey, y'all tried to write us off, but this is who we are. This is our destiny, and this is what we know we can do. And I think the Mystics have shown what can happen when you truly do believe in yourself. Again, when you start the season 0-12, and at one point you're 6-22, talk about how important it is in that locker room for every player to still believe in a mentality and believe what's being sold. I think is so key and so critical. So again, I think this is Washington showing, hey, DC is a sports town. We do have something happening here out in Southeast DC, and fans should be a part of it. So all I want to say, I think it's exciting for Washington Mystics fans right now, and we know every game truly does matter. So tonight and Thursday, Dexter, I think everyone in Washington, D.C. will be tuned in very tightly to Monumental Sports Network to see what our Washington Mystics can do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. See, the other thing of note, Kelsey, is that this could be, if the Liberty lock things up or the Mystics are able to lock up the last spot, this would be who would play each other in the first round. The Liberty would then play the Mystics in the first round. So it could be a bit of a playoff preview that we're seeing tonight down in the nation's capital. That is Kelsey Nicole Nelson doing a fantastic job covering everything in DC sports on top of the Mystics. Kelsey, we will see who comes out on top tonight, and hopefully the Liberty will see the Mystics in the first round of the playoffs, and we'll talk again.
Look, we're looking forward to it. We know the Mystics record doesn't show it, but they play hard basketball, and they've given playoff squads a tough time throughout the season. But looking forward to the game, Dexter. And again, thank you so much for having me, and thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Anytime. Thank you.